Hold on a minute. Where is it now? Don't go. I've got something for you. Here it is. It's a truffula seed.
And then the second part of the question is old nuclear reactors causing massive depopulation. If we get to the point of massive depopulation, all life on Earth goes shortly after that because of the loss of aerosol masking. So this is something that people continue to not understand or to misunderstand, that reducing the human population is not necessarily a good thing at this point. It would have been a great idea before aerosol masking came into play, which, by the way, there's evidence of for going back to ancient Rome. So aerosol masking has been an important thing for a very long time, and we can't ignore it. Most people seem to think we can.
It's the last one of all. Catch! Don't muff!
Will some primitive cultures, like Amish, for example, be the survivors? Well, not for long, because, again,
if we lose the Arctic,
we lose all this industrial activity, we lose aerosol masking. We superheat the planet within a few days. Again, according to James E. Hansen, within a few days, we lose the once we lose the aerosols, within a few days, the planet heats up catastrophically beyond anything we've experienced so far as a species.
we lose the globe.
You know, hey, we're in serious trouble, let's do something different. And all he's saying is that
when does the last human being die? Not too long from now, not too long after the Arctic ice is gone.
It's a bittersweet symphony that's live, trying to make ends meet. You're a slave to money, then you die. I'll take you down the only road I've ever been down.
we're going to go extinct. Of course it'll be faster than we expect, because look at the sort of behavior that people practice. We're mean, we're incredibly self-absorbed.
Quit putting a goddamn $sign on every fucking thing on this planet.
Run, don't walk to the nearest therapist.
To try to make the world a better place, but don't get too attached to the outcome of the world becoming a better place.
I want my children to listen to people who fucking rock.
Suddenly people were growing grains at scale, and once you can grow grains, you can store the food and get through the hard times.
I don't care if they died in puddles of their own vomit. I want someone who plays from his fucking heart.
We don't think about any other species. We think nothing. What do we call those other species? We call them
Guys, we're
resources.
talking about moral hazards and risks and things already of carbon dioxide removal and solar radiation management, but you're not talking about why we would need to do it, like the risk of not doing it.
And within a few months after that, whenever that happens, habitat for our species will rapidly disappear. And a few individuals will persist a little while longer. I won't be one of them, nor do I have any desire, as I once did, to be one of them. Because for me, surrounded by the beauty and the bounty of planet Earth, I wouldn't even want to imagine living on a dead planet. That's not for me. That's not for a conservation biologist who absolutely loves the living planet.
And so the AI bubble is huge at this point, and when it pops, yeah, loss of aerosol masking, that could be real trouble.
When did mediocrity and banality become a good image for your children? Here's Tom with the weather.
It occurred to me finally that actually the world is very screwed up and people need comedians to set it right.
The world is now warmer than at any previous time in the Holocene.
So I've said, well, do you know how, like, I said that we need to declare a global climate change emergency. The risk of not doing it is far, far greater and getting far, far bigger at an accelerating rate than the risk of doing it, the risk of figuring it out and deploying it.
This world-ending stuff, can get you down.
It's a bummer.
It does kind of suck.
Said I thought that there was something really wrong here. We have a major epidemic. We don't know what causes it. Why is that? I had something really wrong here, that we have such a common disease and the treatments for it are so debilitating and unpredictable in their results.
The risk being complete elimination of the biosphere on the Earth, for example. How's that for an existential penultimate?
And I began then to see how ubiquitous this is in American culture. There is no problem that cannot be solved with your attitude and your thoughts.
We young people are being handed a situation in which our
People
prospects
come up
for
to me on
the
the street and be
future.
like, yo, nigga, just every once in a while. Most people thought I was crazy, but sometimes people come, yo, nigga, you did the right thing, man. You my hero. Nigga, I don't want to be your hero. I want to be rich.
I heard a good description of humor. It reframes reality in a positive light. So I think comics are really kind of doorways to a different understanding of a very, very mixed up and very depressing world.
I said that we need to declare a global climate change emergency.
Temperature will rise well above the Eemian level, and forcing on ice sheets will be so strong that rapid ice sheet disintegration and sea level rise is likely.
I encourage people to live fully in the time we have left, to be fully present with the ones we're with.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park.
Right.
But I don't know your expiration date.
Why are you the way that you are?
I mean, even if I'm wrong again and again and again, and the system keeps going on inertia alone, and we can handle 8.5 billion people and consuming like there's no tomorrow, and so on.
It's enough for today. Good job.
That's the stuff. Smoke them if you got them.
I still don't see anything getting any better than it is right now. I think we're living through the last of the good times.
Well, you are in Elysium, and you're already dead! Brothers!
There's all this methane sort of currently frozen in the ground, and if we warm the planet even a bit...
No, we're stupid and we're just going to keep going closer.
What we doing live? Echoes in eternity.
This is so cool.
We may start releasing a lot of that methane into the atmosphere. Well, methane, it turns out...
All life on Earth goes shortly after that because of loss of aerosol masking.
Realize that all matter is merely energy condensed to
an even more potent greenhouse gas than the CO2 we're putting into the atmosphere from fossil fuel burning.
Now, it could be wrong. I certainly would like to be. It could be that Americans, the most entitled people in the history of the planet, just decide...
We get to see the insanity at the end of the movie.
People, can be so stupid and then suddenly wake up and say,
how do we do that? I mean, in our business, yours and mine, how do we encourage reflection?
You get some direction out of life, but you only find real compassion by seeing real pain.
We lose all this industrial activity, we lose aerosol masking.
You're feeling this like incredible rift between it's getting really, and I used to try, I think some of the early versions of talking on stage really honestly were me trying to get out and say I'm corrupt. I want everybody to know it. But all of that is like you can't manage it. And so when you're in front of the world and that's going on inside you, it's just like it's real hell.
A long time ago, like more than 5,000 years ago, we gave up the chase for knowledge in exchange for a few dollars more. And when we did that, and individually we bought into the idea that it's all about the money, and that was the disaster that has led to this point.
This conflict has revolutionized warfare. It's becoming a sci-fi battle between machines. Whoever wins the drones arms race gets the upper hand, not just in this conflict, but other wars to come.
And, those things on the edge, like using another person, but you got their permission first, you're still using another person. You're not being with them, you're using them.
Right.
Well, we'll talk about that later. Well, the guys are ready for your second round of picks, so go ahead, right up there.
Oh, I'm already gone?
You're already going. See you later.
Will I ever see you again?
No, I hope not.
I'm very concerned that our society is much more interested in information than wonder, in noise rather than silence.
That took me a long time to learn about that stuff, but...
This is the worst. This is the worst. You are the worst. I hate looking at your face. I want to smash it.
Okay, so Guy, just in terms of, because obviously this is what I need to know. Bella needs to know it as well. Best guess for the future of humanity is how many years?
You can't win, Darth.
They've turned every human endeavor into an addictive act,
Love,
and these kids
sex.
are so overwhelmed by it. Everything, the most important ones.
You strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
There is no such thing as death. Life is only a dream.
Your power is a weak old man.
If you
strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Never choose to be a hero, because heroes die uncomfortable deaths.
We're told to think positive. We actually say this one out loud. If you don't have hope, there's something wrong with you. You might be clinically depressed. People ask me all the time if I'm depressed. No, but I am a carrier.
And I'm assuming that that's what you're talking about when you're talking about catastrophic outcomes and irreversible outcomes. What are the major tipping points that you're concerned about?
Once we lose the aerosols, within a few days, the planet heats up catastrophically beyond anything we've experienced so far as a species. I can't imagine we will survive beyond 2030, and I would be ecstatic if we did. But
We are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively.
It used to be that they used to call a thing clickbait, where they make something so juicy that people would click on it, but nobody's clicking much anymore. It's just going by.
I got back messages from women, also breast cancer sufferers, saying things like, run, don't walk to the nearest therapist.
To try to make the world a better place, but don't get too attached to the outcome of the world becoming a better place.
This isn't like, it's not in the phone's not really doing the work.
And then someone says, who's going to get the water? Data centers or wildlife and humanity? I think we know the answer to that one, don't we?
There's something else that's making that. There's a processor that's doing that and putting it on the cloud and bringing it to your phone. But there's smoke going in the air, hot smoke. Every time you just go like this. And everybody's doing this all the time.
Oh, in the middle of the night, I'll wake up literally. It's almost like I have to do it for like a minute so I can go back to sleep. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I'll wake up, I'll see like 4 things. I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Racism, murder.
Yeah, just as a blanket.
But every year of my life has been worse than the year before. Every year we have more dirty water than the year before that. Every year we foul more of the air than the year before that. Every year we wash more of the soil into the world's oceans. Every year we ratchet up carbon dioxide. Every year we drive to extinction hundreds of species every single day.
It's just that feed.
Every single day.
You are not going to get better unless you change your attitude.
We'll have to worry about the future of the entire global ecosystem.
That's not fair.
That somebody ought.
Today's adults benefit from fossil fuel burning and leave the waste for young people to clean up.
What's them unless?
That's why we filed a lawsuit against the government.
Let's talk about the 21 youth plaintiffs, and I am the 22nd plaintiff as a guardian of Sophie and future generations. Lawyers for the defense argued that the case should be dismissed.
So I felt very alone. But then I wrote about that experience. I wrote about the whole cancer experience and talked about my disgust at this positive thinking culture that had taken over. And I've gotten wonderful responses. Basically, thank God, someone said it.
About something I ought?
Well, a thought about something that somebody ought. A thought about something that somebody ought.
You could actually restore the sea ice. So if you seed the atmosphere, which contains the water vapor, with these salt crystals of the correct size, then you will get much, much smaller particles, and those particles will be very bright and reflect a lot of the sunlight. So that's the idea of marine cloud brightening. Lots of different ideas and things.
Some would argue, what's wrong with being optimistic? If it helps buoy your spirits, isn't that harmless in its own right? What would you say to them?
I would say,
Seize the day. To quote Nietzsche, live as though the day were here. To live every day. To live here now. To be here, to be present, to be fully present with wherever you're at, to spend time with people that you enjoy spending time with.
this positive thinking took over and began to replace more logical, analytical approaches to things, focused on the bottom line. And the idea had taken hold that We can do no wrong. Housing prices can never go down. The stock market can never go down. And because I think it's right, you know, it will be right, especially if you're the CEO and you're making $20 million a year. And I think that it became like a mass delusion.
The whole definition of civilization, we see the transfer of wealth from the poor to the wealthy at an accelerating rate. Things are getting better? Really? Maybe for a long time, for relatively wealthy white men like me, things did get better. But for the rest of the world, things were getting worse. And certainly for the non-human species with which we share this most wondrous of planets, the world has been becoming a worse and worse place every single year.
No, these are people who, their primary clients are corporate. They're brought into sales meetings, but also to any kind of general corporate meeting. And the message is again and again, you can have whatever you want.
Those are strong assertions, but we will make the young people step in. Let's start with the young people. I have been joined by some of the top relevant young people in the world in submitting a paper, Young People's Burden. We draw attention to a staggering implication and clapped each other on the back. Meanwhile, emissions had increased faster and faster.
It's practically locked in. It would just be a matter of time.
The trouble is, you think there's time.
The social disruption and economic effect are incalculable. How could adults knowingly leave such prospects for young people?
If major ice sheet collapse begins, there will be growing disruption, irreparable harm to today's young people.
What does that group do and talk about right now the middle class in this country, where it's at?
Well, the middle class is in barely, it's just been squeezed so much. It almost doesn't make sense to draw a certain line. So many of people who might have considered themselves middle class have been lining up at food banks or applying for food stamps in the last year. Or, this is another part of my research and reporting, is that it's a disaster losing your health insurance and so on. And yet what they get again and again, whether they're tuning into TV, not your show, but some shows, or so many of these motivational books. The big one in 2006 was The Secret, about how you could have anything you wanted by thinking about it.
Save the world, whatever that even means, that you be present with the ones you're with, that you enjoy every single moment and maybe even contribute to moments of joy.
Let me summarize Young People's Burden. We show what is required to keep global warming below 1.5 degrees. So the target actually needs to be even lower. However, the important point is that even with the most optimistic technology assumptions, the cost will be in hundreds of trillions of dollars.
So let's assume the government start working for the public instead of the fossil fuel industry.
There is an idea, but that's the story for another day.
And they're just being pelted with this idea, if I just changed my thoughts, I could have it all. And no, my alternative to positive thinking is not negative thinking or despair. It's, how about realism?
My entire life, I have heard that the world has been better and better. We have smartphones, after all.
Now, how does a positive attitude fight cancer? Supposedly by boosting the immune system. And then the immune system fights the cancer. There is no evidence that the immune system fights cancer. The immune system evolved to fight foreign invaders to the body, microbes, for example. In fact, there is some evidence now, and this is really strange, that the immune system may, under many circumstances, actually promote tumor growth. And more to the point, now we have the big studies, looking at all the other studies, the meta-studies, that have found that there is no evidence of an effect of your attitude on whether you survive cancer.
You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds. And truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula. Treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest. Protect it from Axe's attack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back.
We must phase out fossil fuel.
We know it is possible, but it won't happen.
We superheat the planet within a few days. Again, according to James E. Hansen, within a few days, we lose